Hey, 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 hey. So, we're still talking about King Saul, and things are getting worse and worse. He's just getting so full of evilness. He finally makes an announcement to the whole palace and Jonathan his son, and tells everybody, kill David. He's ticked. He's just had it, and he's spreading the word. Saul told his son Jonathan and all his attendants to kill David. Now Jonathan went and spoke to David because Jonathan loves David and they're good friends. And he says, David, I want you to go hide. I'm going to get Dad out in the field. We're going to talk. We're going to talk this over and figure this out. So he went and got Saul. After David had hid, Jonathan went and got Saul. And he took him to the field, and he said to him, let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you. And what has he done? Everything he's done has benefited you greatly. He took his own life into his hands when he killed the Philistines. And I like that Jonathan realized that it wasn't David, but it was the Lord. Listen, he said, he took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistine. The Lord won a great victory for all of Israel. He says, why then would you do wrong to this innocent man, David? So Saul's all like, okay, I promise. What he did, he says, as surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death. He took an oath, which is like, I promise. I'm not going to kill David. So Jonathan went and got David. Him and Saul stood together, and basically they made up. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. But an evil spirit from the Lord came upon Saul. It's interesting that the evil spirit was from the Lord. I so don't understand that. But God's in charge. And just as before, David was playing the harp. And Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him, and Saul drove the spear into the wall. So David's like, okay, I got to get out of here. So he runs to his house, and his wife warns him, if you don't run for your life tonight, tomorrow you're going to get killed. And sure enough, Saul set up some guards, and he told them to go. Pause. Long pause. Actually, it's been the whole weekend now. And I drove, I don't know, probably 1,000 miles since pause, but here goes. So, Saul sent guards to the house and told the guards, as soon as you see David in the morning, kill him. So his wife, Michal, heard about the plan. So she snuck David out a back window. She lowered him down from a window in the back so he could go and get away. And then she set up an idol. I have no idea why they had an idol in the house, but she set up an idol. She put goat's hair on the idol's head. She put it in the bed and put a blanket over it so that Saul's men would be tricked. And they came and they said, bring him to me. Bring him out so we can kill him. And she kept saying, oh, he's sick. So finally they went in and they saw that she kept saying he was sick. So the men went and told Saul, David's sick, he's in bed, he's sick. We can't kill him because he's sick or whatever. And Saul's like, bring him in the bed, bring him to me, I'll kill him myself. He really wanted David dead. So they went and they got the statue with the hair, or the idol with the hair, goat hair, and he figured out he'd been tricked, and I don't know if they got the bed all the way to King Saul or if they just pulled the covers off. It'd be kind of cool if they got all the way to King Saul and like started trying to kill an idol. So anyways, David, he ran to this city called Ramah, where Samuel was, because Samuel loved the Lord, David loved the Lord. They had a kindred spirit, and Saul found out about it, that David was with Samuel. So he started sending men, a bunch of men, to go. He'd send a big old pack of guards to go kill David. So they'd all go, and there was something really a lot different about what was going on. Where Samuel and David were, the presence of the Lord was there in a mighty way. So all these men that were leaving Saul, who had so much hate and the evil spirit, they were leaving and they were going to Ramah, where Samuel and David were full of the Lord and full of God's Spirit, and holiness was all over them. And as soon as they would get in the presence, they'd come to kill David. And as soon as they'd come into the presence of the Lord, it was so thick, they would all start prophesying. Prophecies like when you talk about the good things of the Lord and how awesome He is and how God can do great things in your life and how you can be amazing. And so they'd all start prophesying. So all these guards that came to kill David were all prophesying like it was full-on praise service. So Saul heard about it and he sent another group, second group. And all those guys, they showed up and God's presence was so strong, they all started prophesying. Saul sent a third group. They all showed up. What do you think happened? They all start prophesying. So now this is like a full-on gigantic church service. Everybody's talking about how awesome God is. Finally, Saul goes himself, and he is touched by the Lord in the presence of the Lord, and he starts prophesying. So, full of hate and anger, and goes to kill, and he ends up like preaching, talking about how good God is. Pretty cool. I want for when people when they're around me, for the yuckiness to go away and for them to start praising the Lord. Wouldn't it be awesome if our home was a place where people really just felt the presence of the Lord and knew Jesus was there, and that their whole insides changed, and that God's Spirit would be around them when they're around us? I want that for my life. So, what is Saul's son's name? And tell me about him and David. What was their relationship like? What did Jonathan do when his daddy sent Saul? What did Jonathan do when Saul was trying to kill David? He took him, had a meeting. What did they talk about? What was his argument? What did he tell Saul about David? Did Saul and David make up? But what kept happening to Saul? Something kept coming on him. And he kept trying to kill David in this certain way. So when David saw that Saul wasn't going to change, his wife helped him do something. How did she help him do that? First of all, she snuck him out this way, and then she pretended like he was, and she made a pretend to trick the guards. What did she do? How did Saul say to bring David to me right now? How? When Saul figured out he'd been tricked, and he found out where David was, he sent how many groups of guards? what happened every time the guards came. And eventually, Saul went himself, and what happened to Saul. Good job.